Hi Class 2, it's just Mrs. Lewis here. Today in our maths session we are going to look at addition and subtraction fact families for numbers within 20. Okay, so just to remind you what a fact family is, it's facts using the same set of numbers. So to make it even clearer, I'm going to show you a bar model like what we use in class, and then I will talk to you about how we make our fact family from the numbers. So let's look at this bar model. The number in the top is the total, and the two numbers underneath are the numbers we need to add together to make that total. Now you can see in this bar model that this space is bigger than this space. So when I put my two numbers in, the number on this side is going to be bigger than the number on that side. Okay, so to make 17, the two numbers that I'm choosing are 13 and 4. Okay, so here is my bar model with my total and my two numbers that make 17. And from that, I'm going to make lots of different number sentences using these numbers. Okay, so first of all, I could say that 13 add 4 equal 17. Now I can also swap these numbers around, can't I? Because when we do addition, we can change the numbers around and it doesn't matter which order they come in, our answer will still be the same. So I could say 4 add 13 equals 17. What do we call that when we can just switch the numbers around? It's called commutative. Well done. Now remember, you can only do that for addition. It doesn't work for subtraction. However, we can still use these three numbers to make some subtraction facts, because if we start with our total, remember when we're doing subtraction facts, we start with our biggest number and we take away 13. What number are we left with? Number 4. Well done. We can also start with 17 again, but this time if we take away number 4, what number are we left with? 13. So we can make those 4 different calculations using the same numbers, okay? Now, if you want to be really whizzy and clever, and I know some of you can do this, you could try putting your equal sign at the beginning of your calculation. So you could start with 17 and you could say 17 equals 13 add 4. Now, remember, it's exactly the same as the calculation up here. All we've done is we've switched our equal sign and we've moved it to the beginning of our calculation. Okay, so what we're saying is 17 equals 13 add 4. 13 add 4 equals 17. We can do it again for the other addition fact by switching our numbers around and saying 17 equals 4 and 13. 4 add 13 equals 17. Now these ones are trickier, but I know some of you will be able to do them, so I'm putting them in for you. Okay, we can do the same with the subtraction by putting our equal sign at the beginning. So 4 equals, now what two numbers would I have to take away from each other if I wanted to be left with the 4 as my answer? I would have to take these two numbers away. So remember, we put our biggest one first. So it will be 17 take away 13 equals 4. And again, we could put our 13 here. And if I wanted to be left with 13, I would have to have 17 and I would have to take away my 4, wouldn't I? 17 take away 4 equals 13. Okay, so these ones are slightly trickier, but I know some of you will be able to try them. If not, you could just do the first 4. Now, I've actually managed to make 8 number sentences there from that one fact family, okay? From using those 3 same numbers each time, I've made 8 different calculations. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. Hopefully you'll still be able to see it on your screen. And I'm going to do another bar model. And I'm going to let you work out some of the calculations in this fact family. So I'm going to put my line here, and I'm going to put number 14 as my total. I'm sticking with numbers within 20, boys and girls, because in year 2 we all know our number facts are 20. Okay, so if I had 14 in this box and I had 2 in this box, how would I work out this missing number? If I add these 2 numbers together, would that be right? No, because that would make a bigger number than 14. That would make 16, wouldn't it? And I know my total is 14 because that's the number that goes in the top box. So I don't add these 2 numbers together. I need to subtract them. So I can put 14, take away 2, and I'll put 14 in my head or in my pocket, and I'll count back 2. So I'll go 14, 13, 12. So my missing number for this part of the bar model is number 12. Okay, so if you want to, boys and girls, now would be a good time to pause the video and see if you can work out the other 7 calculations that would go with this set of numbers, this fact family. Okay, so I've done the first one for you. See if you can work out the other 7 calculations. Okay, when you've done that, here's another bar model. This time I'm not going to tell you my total, but I will tell you my 2 numbers in the bottom part of the bar model. So we've got 15 and 3. So what would I need to do to those 2 numbers to get my total? Remember, if I decide to take them away from each other, I'm going to end up with a smaller number than 15, aren't I? So that wouldn't be right because 15 wouldn't be my total. It needs to go into that box. So I would have to add these 2 numbers together. 15, add 3, and that will get me my total, which will be my number in the top of my box. So I'll put 15 in my pocket or in my head, and I will count on 3. So I would go 15, 16, 17, 18. So the number in the totals box is 18. 15 add 3 is 18. Now again, you can pause the video at this point and see if you can write down another 7 number sentences to go with this bar model. Okay? Right. Now I've got one more challenge for you, boys and girls, today, and this is a really tough one, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it. I'm going to show you an incomplete bar model. Okay, so I'm not going to put all of the information into the bar model. I'm going to set you a little challenge. Sorry about this, my pens are not very good. So I'm going to give you the number 4. Well, I'm going to give you the number 4. If I can get a pen that works. There we go. I'm going to give you the number 4 there. But I'm not going to tell you this number. And I'm not going to tell you this number. Okay? But what I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to see if you can work out how many different combinations there would be to complete this bar model. Now I'm going to give you some clues though. Okay? The number in the totals box has to be greater than 10. So it has to be a bigger number than 10, but it has to be a smaller number. It has to be less than 20. Okay, and there's lots of different combinations that you could use to make that correct. So I'll go through one example with you. So it has to be bigger than 10. So I'm going to start with I'll try number 11. So if I put 11 in this box, which it's not going to let me do, there we go. If I put 11 in this box, what number would go in this part of the box? How would I get this missing number? I would have to start with 11 and I would have to take off 4, wouldn't I? So I would put 11 in my pocket and I would count back 4. So I would go 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So 7 could be one of the possibilities. So one of the answers is 11 and 7. However, there are more answers because this total has to be more than 10 but less than 20. So what other numbers could go in each of my boxes? Good luck, and I'll see you again soon.